So, hello and welcome back to the train home. Yes, and a lot of happened in the layout. Here you see me building the final part of the ramp to the Helix number 2. Yes, I wanted to put it like that, but then I realized that it would be the place below would be too low and the train would not pass. Then I mounted two bridge kits, and this was everything for my plan, what you see. Then I started to cut some styrofoam to fill up the gap behind. Here should the city in the background come. So I just cut this piece. Actually, I thought this piece was only half thick. It looks like 2 sheets, but it was only 1 because it's for mounting. So I'm stuck with 6 very big sheets instead of 12 small ones. So we have come here in an issue, and yes, you might guess what it is. Everything looks like in order, but I wanted to put here a waterfall of larger river, and here there would be the bridges for the main line which runs from here to here. But it thinks, yeah, it's a great idea, but it just doesn't compute, because this height needs to be 10 centimeters, otherwise the train will not run. And if I put the bridge above, I can maybe lower than a couple of centimeters. But and it's still too high, because they have to go here and then down again, and it would just would be too steep to run properly. So I could make it, I could lower the bridge, having the water here, but it doesn't make sense. It would be too high for high water, especially on the other bridge. It would hang in the water, which it would not make sense to have the metal part in the water. And yes, it would not compute for high water, which happens in nature. So that happens when you don't do the math before you buy the stuff. But what I can't do here, since here will be a mountain and the line will be around here, and having a bridge so I can have a waterfall going down here and filling up here and filling up the little lake here. Yeah, that will compute. But then I cut this piece for nothing, because I can use a wider thing now. But yes, so I think that's the way to go. So not using the bridges made actually the construction of the ramp a little bit simpler, because I don't have to build mounting points for the bridge. So here you see the ramp, then the line will split because it goes to a separate single line tunnel. It's because, like, historical, the line would have been first single track, but later it would have been doubled. So and then due to the topography, it would have been placed a bit apart. So I know some places which have done like that, where I commute every day. So I use my technique by using the straight sheets and then cutting it to an angle to create an angle for the flex track. Here is just a little bit. And I also used a little bit of different grades on the front and the back track. And the front track is the one going down, so it can be a little bit steeper without getting into problem. Here I use Woodland Scenics track bed as a blower for the flex track. And on the front track I will keep the last part not glued and screwed, because I don't know exactly where the helix will exactly come, so I have a little room to play on the final mount. Here I only had to shorten one of the inner rails, and so it was not as complicated as a normal flex track cutting. So, and this track is only mounted a little bit. Here I solder the cable for the feeder, because this will be part of the second booster section in case I need that one day. but at the moment it's all connected to the same booster section. Because I only have one, so now it's time to test a new line. I never have done that, so it works quite well, no problems, or no obvious problem. I run it also with some trains, but it was not on tape, so it was not so practical to run with trains, because you cannot continue or turn a train around, so you have to back over, and some trains don't like to be pushed. And obviously this line goes also, but it should not be run in this direction. It will be the downwards track, but it makes also no problem. So and now it's time to lay out the tracks for the industrial area. So I made a plan, and I tried things how it makes, because I don't know if it will make sense in reality. So at the beginning I had decided to use only 4 switches and use the 2 remaining servos for some stuff which will be in the on the thing like factory or doors and so. So here I cut some wood, that's for the track to the upper deck, and I make holes here to pull some big cables so they just don't hang under the layout. So here I mount some support for the industrial area, and here I mount this holder for the line which goes to the upper floor. So I will remove the 2 legs in front for the upper part, because I want to keep it I want to keep only 1 floor on this part. I think otherwise it gets too crowded and it will darken the layout too much and makes the room too crowded. So the one I'm holding here will be gone, as well as the one in front here. So here I put back the sheet for the industrial area. Now it's in the correct height, and this is an idea how I want to place all the factory building, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do it like that. So I just cut out some paper pieces with the size of the building I plan to place there, and to see if it makes sense. So, but that's still going maybe to change. So I found 2 more switches, so I could expand it to 6, and I have enough servo decoders port there. So we are not in the train room, but in my car, because I'm going to the Model Railroad show or sales event in Skedsmo. That's just outside of Oslo. And obviously I'm going to buy some stuff, and on my list are 2 or 3 S88 feedback module to finish the layout. And then I need, what do I need? If I can find a EL18 or EL18 Norwegian locomotive for my Norwegian passenger train, because I would like to have a second one just to feel more safe, because the train is quite heavy. Otherwise, what do I need? Some stuff to decorate the layout later. That's it. And the event is here, and this year I have built a new parking. It was very easy to park. So the fair is not that big, and it's organized by 2 shops and a model railroad producer. So it's mostly a sales event. Here you have the Kløfta Modelljernbaneklubb. The Kløfta is nearby, and it's like the local club. And they had 2 N layouts here, a small one which is analog driven and a larger one which is digital. And they have their clubhouse is open every last Saturday of the month. So if you are in Oslo and you want to see some model railroad, just grab train there. It's near the airport. And here you have Randhaus with their live steam engines. And here it's from Horten Modelljernbane. They have one of the nicest layout in Norway. Yes, and we are here at the neighbors of the train room, Tøff Modelljernbaneklubb. And they are doing Frimo modules. What's all this module represent?
This is a part of the Bergensbanen, the Bergen line. It represents a section between Hallingskjær and Myrdal stations in the mountains. It's a section called Horisontalen. The horizontal, meaning it's a flat piece of line in between the sections rising into the mountains. This is supposed to be a winter landscape. I can't say it's finished. It's a bit of a work in progress to try to figure out how to best represent snow in this way.
So I'm finished with trade show. It was okay. I got the highest priority stuff I need to construct the layout. That's I have. It was this feedback module from Litvinsky. I have now 3 pieces. That should be enough to finish. And what else? I got some tracks which I need. It's always practical. Otherwise, I didn't find anything which turned me on. The locomotive I wanted is apparently sold out, so I will have to do some searching. And the layouts on display were quite nice, but as usual, they were not made for automatic operation. So you have basically 2 trains running around and no change. So that's a tip. If you have like a display layouts, you should make somehow a possibility to have several trains running. It's just my opinion. I like change in operation and so. So I got a delivery from Spain. Okay, my dealer got it, but and you wonder what kind of model railroad manufacturer is in Spain, also in Barcelona, and what is it? Here things, it was not really cheap, but I ordered everything at once.